is only a matter of time, and that's why I realize, man, that's why we have to understand where the good fight of faith is, because you know what? I realize, you know what, man, there is no way that you're gonna wing this thing. And Satan was so clever at tricking us. Man, he's so clever. You can't just go to church and just sit in a congregation and listen to a pastor and think that everything is going to be okay. You can't just go and feed the homeless and distribute your efforts, even in evangelism and caring for the sick and doing all these things, and not know an intellectual understanding of spiritual warfare and how to fight. What y'all two are learning now is how to fight. You understand the semantics, the details on how to fight by scripture. Understanding the garden of the righteousness, a hedge of protection. Understanding the mind is intimately connected to the heart, as well as to the fruits of the spirit, either the fruit, the tree of corruption, or either the tree that bears forth the fruits of the spirit. So you understanding this is a intelligent system of knowing a actual cause and effect of your obedience or disobedience. You now know the science of warfare, understanding the details, because scripture reveals it. If you do not understand that, then it's easy for somebody to say, you can't be perfect because I don't know how to stop sinning. You know what I'm saying? That's why people come against, you're going to sin. You hear what my uncle told you. People are teaching in their churches, man, that you can't be perfect. You're going to sin all the way until Christ come. The law is done away with. Just know that you are saved and covered in the blood. And man, when you hear some of these ministers, it sounds so good and believable that I'm like, man, you know what? I almost believed it and I know it. And I know the truth. I'm like, man.
It is. That's true. You know what's so actually crazy about what you had just had said? That we can get to the scripture. I'm just figuring out, like, if we are the you're saying spirit of God, right?
Right.
If our body represents the same tree, just actually think about this. We're not who we are. Now, I actually know that what I'm saying might actually sound it might sound actually weird. But when we look at it, when I look at you, when you look at me, we're looking at the outside, shell.
Right.
We're looking at the shell of each other. But in actuality, if you look at you for who you are the makeup of God within inside the spirit realm. You're not. I'm not looking at. I'm actually looking at you, but that's not who you are. You're the makeup of the obedience. So when we talk about, I just got attacked by spirits. The same spirit that actually attack you do not look like you. They're the spirit of obedience.
Okay.
So when the spirit actually manifests itself with you, when you actually fight back the spirit, you're not fighting. That's why now I understand it says that you cannot fight carnal, because the spirit is not like you. You have to fight the spirit the same way that the spirit is going to fight you.
Right.
Disobedience with obedience.
There you go.
I'm fighting against. I'm fighting now. That's why I said that. It's not about the way that I can see somebody. When anger comes, now you use love. Now it's
right. So
I'm looking at this spirit for what it is. I see anger now.
Right.
I'm not looking at some type of human being.
Right, man. That's good. And that's in the verse, man. That's what we about to read right now, man. So, man, who want to start it off with for us? That's good.
I'll read it.
Okay, you can start off with 3 and 4. Antonio, you can take 5 and 6.
Okay.
For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds.
Casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of will in Christ, and having in readiness to revenge all disobedience when your obedience is for the field.
Wow. Wow. Man, you see that, man, having in a readiness. That readiness comes with the scriptures that says, watch and pray, lest you enter into temptation. So that readiness is that meaning that you ready. That's key. We can't miss that. That's a key word. I'm like, man, how is it so magnified right now? Like when you brought that out, Antonio, that confirms even more that we have to be watchful as skilled warriors, man. We are at battle, but you are the difference between now, because you're gonna have the mindset as a warrior. I realize it's almost as this virtual reality. You know how you put, again, I mentioned that you put on those glasses, you enter into a room. Well, when you put on your armor, you know that you about to go to war. If you put on the armor, like when I was playing semi-pro, I would my equipment, my helmet, my locker, I go, man, listen, I'm in my zone. When I get on that field, it's all about whole nother mindset. It's like you gotta put on the mindset that you are living in a world where spiritual wickedness is all around you. Even though you don't see it, do not live like a civilian. Think like a spiritual warrior.
That's how you gotta be.
Think like that.
Is that now? You can't see spirit, but you can actually feel it.
Yeah.
You can feel spirit. You can actually feel it. Now, when you look at it like this now, it says, "Be ready to fight the obedience through verse 6. Right here it says, "Having all readiness to revenge all disobedience when your obedience is fulfilled." So the disobedience is where you see the spirits at. They're not coming to you as what you actually think that they are.
Right.
Spirit is nothing but just actually personality.
There you go.
They're a different type of personality other than you.
There you go.
So God is telling you to live in the spirit, which is the spirit of obedience.
Wow.
Your spirit of obedience will override their spirit, and it's not the way that we had thought it was.
All praises. I'm just thankful, man. I'm just thankful for the Most High that was well said. That's what would need to be transpired, man. That's what I want y'all to receive. All praises, because that right there is major. It's big. That's wonderful, man. It is our job to know what we're dealing with and how to become like Christ. I think matter of fact, the heavens is rejoicing. We don't see this. Like, I want to enter into the spirit realm and be able to, certain times, man, when we touch on things that are truth and we are speaking truth, and it brings us closer to becoming like Christ, then the heavens and the angels, the Father smiles and look down upon us, and they are in rejoicing, man. And that is what I want to absorb. I always used to say to myself, being negative, being down, that, man, you this, you that, you that. And I really rarely look at the positive things. And I want to be able to to look at the positive things more. And even in, you and Marquita, and how y'all are growing and learning, and it's just a beautiful thing. And I need to tell y'all too that I've noticed and heard many, many things that just made my spirit just jump for joy and just like, man, this is that the Most High is gonna get glory out of your lives, man. So I really, really glad to hear that, because this right here, I didn't even realize how important this is. Now listen to this though, okay? Readiness for vengeance for disobedience. Now, what happens in, hold your finger there, let's look at this in Matthew 27. This will keep the crown around you and keep obedience, man. I want to see us in heaven, man. Man, all of us. Matter of fact, we're going to decree, not like being boastful, but we're going to decree that we're heavenly bound. We're on our way by the grace of the Most High. And we say by the grace of the Most High because we're not going to be like those that like in the Laodicea, with this high confidence. But we're going to use wisdom and intelligence because we are going to be students of Scripture, and we know by humility that we're heaven bound by the grace of the Most High, of the Most High. All right, now looking at Matthew's 26. Yes, Matthew's 26. All right, let's look at what happens in the prayer of Gethsemane. And he says, there's something I want to bring out in this prayer. Something that I want to bring out in this, what happens.
What verse?
In verse 40. No. Start with 36. You just read the whole thing. So, Marquita, you can take the first three. Antonio, you can take the next three. Start with 36. Chapter 26, verse 36.
Okay, Matthew 26, verse 36. Then cometh Jesus with them unto a place called Gethsemane. What's that? Pronounce that again.
Gethsemane.
Gethsemane. Okay. I'm going to start that over. Then cometh Jesus with them unto a place called Gethsemane, and saith unto the disciples, sit ye here, while I go and pray yonder. And he took with him Peter and the two sons of Zebedee, I'm sorry.
No, you're okay.
And began to be sorrowful and very heavy. Can I read that again?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
It's kind of the King James Version. Okay. Then cometh Jesus with them unto a place called Gethsemane, and said unto the disciples, sit ye here while I go and pray yonder. And he took with him Peter and the two sons of Zebedee, and began to be sorrowful and very heavy. Then saith he unto them, my soul is exceeding sorrowful, even unto death. Tarry ye here and watch with me.
And he went a little further and fell in his face and prayed, saying, O my Father, if it's possible, let this cup pass. Let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as thou wilt. And he came, and he come unto the disciples, and find them asleep, and said unto Peter, what could ye now watch with me 1 hour? Watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak.
Man, oh man. So, what did y'all gather out of that? I just want to ask y'all that right now.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I gathered some action. it was the action part that actually had got me in verse 40 and 41.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it was the watching of the spirit, which led us into temptation, which we know is the opposite of obedience, which led them to temptation.
Watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. That means, I get from this, from verse 40 to 41, that he's saying that, I'm going to take it up a little further. When they begin to be sorrowful and very heavy. So when he came back and he found out they were asleep, and he made, like, you couldn't watch for 1 hour, and then, he know that the spirit indeed is willing. But the flesh is weak. But how is the flesh weak? The flesh is weak because we don't watch and pray that we not enter into temptation.
Okay, absolutely. And the watching and praying is very key in regards to the position of how temptation starts. So what would you say then about sin? Is it possible for one to escape sin, and how, considering what y'all just read?
Yeah, it's possible to escape sin by being watchful and praying unceasingly.
But what is one thing in there that if we avoid, then actually we don't never have to worry about committing sin?
Well, I know here from one thing I can say is verse 39. It says, and he went a little further and fell on his face and prayed, saying, "Oh Father, if it's possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but thy will." Meaning that the Father wasn't going to actually take it away from. He had to go through some type of process. There was a process that he had to go through, and then verse 41 basically confirms that watching and actually praying for that 1 hour was that, and it was a very intense the moment for him, because if he would have actually took his eyes off of the Father, even at one point in time, he would have been swallowed by temptation, and he would have never ever came to that point to go with that finish with the work.
Okay, say that last part one more time.
If he would have had took his eyes off of his Father, even for one moment, the temptation would have swallowed him.
Okay. Absolutely. That's good. And as well as the concept of watching and praying, that we don't give into, because our flesh is weak, and that we don't give into our flesh, and everything that Sister Marquita was saying, as well as what you're saying, is on point. And you're understanding the fact that sin and temptation is together, though. This is the thing. When you see that if temptation, it's like, if I don't come into your house, I don't have to worry about, like, if I know that there is for instance, if I know that, I remember, let me use what is appropriate to say. If this is basic, if somebody is drinking and smoking and they have parties every day, all day, and I have to come over every day to pick you up for work because we already made an agreement that you gave me certain money for gas money in a week, you don't got no ride to work, I'm not gonna just let you not have a ride. I'm gonna pick you up. So I'm gonna come over your house, but I don't have to come in. Now, I did my part by coming over. Don't mean that I'm gonna come in, and if you're running late, I'll wait for you to come outside. Now, for whatever situation, if I come in a house, I know I'm gonna be exposed to that which is gonna be tempting. And if I know that I'm not drinking no more, and I know I ain't smoking no more, and I know that your sister want to get with me and enter into that house, so to make myself vulnerable to thoughts and other things, so I'm gonna wait outside. What I realize is even what you and Marquita is saying, and what the Spirit is moving, how it's moving on all of us, is that temptation is the only reason why we actually sin, is because we enter into it. If I never go into the house, I never have to worry about sinning.
Yeah, true.
Never have to worry about sinning, and never have to deal with the situation.
The only thing is that I like what you said. I don't know if you had called what you had said earlier. You said something that was right on key. You said that sin and temptation works together. If the temptation cannot overtake you, the temptation, sin will actually bargain with your flesh.
Yeah.
It will actually bargain with your flesh. It will bargain with it.
But it can't. But see, it can't even bargain with it if you don't even enter into temptation.
Well, if one don't know how to actually sustain itself. So if you don't know how to sustain yourself, what happens is that if you were never actually taught actually that, anybody can actually stay away from something. But if you're not taught how to, and then what if you is in this situation of you actually was able, if you actually is actually fasting, how is it that temptation got actually past you?
Yeah, because if like far as the temptation get past you, and you actually entered into it, it's only a matter of time before it starts to manifest. That's why I believe the time limit for temptation is an hour.
So what actually happened? What happened? You got time to actually fight.
Yeah.
It's the fight.
Yeah.
It's the longevity of the fight.
Yeah,
you got time of actually fighting. So you had gave actually to it.
Gave into it. Yeah, you're absolutely right. What
I was saying was that some of us could not be, you could actually run away from it by actually fasting. But the thing is that your inner spirit, your soul, your spirit, will actually prove you who you are by your fight.
By your fight. Okay, yeah.
It's all about the fight. Because once you hold off, that's just like I was saying, in the water, if you got something in the water, and if it's on your rod, your pole, how long could you actually hold it until it actually breaks? Somebody have to go and say, to give. Either the fish will give, or either you is.
Right.
That really proves who you are and what you have actually deep down in actually inside of you.
Right. Absolutely. I agree. It's about the fight. It is. It's about how you actually are made. How are you able to endure, and what you are made of?
The endurance.
Yeah. You're enduring.
Because think about it. If you think about it like this, if I got all those in twos, somebody giving me the twos, right?
Right.
How is it that I'm able still to let sin, actually bargain with me? Something is wrong with you.
Right.
Something is wrong. If I gave you all those things tools that you need, why is you doing what you actually doing? So you need to refocus onto you, the person that's inside of you. Need to have a check. To say, hey, is this really what you actually want? Why are you actually doing this? Why are you coming to those same Bible studies? Why are you coming to those same church? Why are you doing this? What's inside of you that's making you run to it? Because if I gave you all the tools and you have fought good for two or three days, now all of a sudden, temptation had to get me again. No temptation didn't get you. You had quit.
Wow.
You actually had it.
Right.
Don't actually blame it now on to temptation. You can't blame it on that. You had it. So that's what I said. Sometimes we push the blame off on sin and Satan, but if God giving me those things tools, what's really wrong?
Mm-hmm. Oh, praises. Absolutely. That's dead on right there. Dead on. Dead on.
So that goes back to was that Second Corinthians? I forget the verse, but that part about examining.
Oh yeah, that's 2 Corinthians 13.
What was that? Was that three?
No, 2 Corinthians 13.
Okay, yeah, that's right. So what I'm saying is that sometimes now what I'm saying is it's actually fair. Like people have to be actually the fair. Like it's good thing and it's a bad thing, but you have to be honest as well. You have to be the fair. How many times have I got the whistling tools, but I just didn't actually hold it? Hold was a line. I guess if you playing actually the foot on ball or something, right?
Yeah.
And somebody trying to come in, what's the whole point? Hold the whistling line. Hold the line so that way you can't actually nothing come at your past you. But how long are you willing to actually hold it?
Right. Are you willing to endure
until it actually breaks?
But then that actually I just want to add just real quick. That actually is determined on what you really believe. Everything is to stem from belief. Know why? Because what is fueling your fight is based on your concept and your understanding of what you truly can see spiritually, your belief process, your thinking process. Is it really worth a temporal second of enjoyment versus eternity? Now, come on now. When you really think about this thing and you can ask a person without temptation being involved, they will actually tell you, man, look, of course, eternity in the kingdom and my inheritance is way more than $1 million or anything that I ever want in this world.
Yeah.
It can't be compared. But yet, in the midst of temptation, when that actual opportunity comes before you, is it that way you feel? Well, it shows that it's not really in the heart, because you're going to actually take that opportunity and you're going to forsake eternal things.
That's it right there. That's the main key right there. This is what Christ was talking about right here. What? Now listen, let me ask you a question. Did he hold his spot? Yes, he did. Christ held his spot. He didn't allow his, because that's the case, he would have never went to those things on the cross.
Right.
And see, and that's the part where then I believe God is that's where the children of Israel, if you go back to the children of Israel, they went around inside the circle over and over and over and over and over. Why? God gave them those laws, right?
Yep.
He gave them everything that they needed to actually hold those in line, but they kept on falling and failing and failing and failing. So the point is that what is this actually remedy that we need to have as God's people to say, okay, I can hold it maybe for a day, maybe even 2 or 3 days. But what causes me to just go to give up that was in fight when I reached day was in 3, or maybe they was in 4?
Hey, you know what? I'm so glad you brought that out. What causes you? That's why that's why we're in this verse, because the whole point is that when you connect the word watch and pray, it tell you right there, verse 41, watch and pray that ye enter not. Oh, hold on. Brother Kurt, we welcome you into our study. How you doing, brother?
Good. I got no complaints.
Oh, praises. Oh, praises, man. We talk. We got Marquita and Antonio on right now. So
hello, brother.
Yeah. We just we just touching on Matthew's 26. And we're looking at Matthew's 26 verse 41. So
okay.
Yeah, so in regards to the word watch and pray, it says, watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. Now, this is the reason why, bro, is that I understand, man, it's so understandable to me now, the word watch and pray, and why we give up that why we give up that fight. When we holding out for 2 days and we guarding the mind and we got the hedge of protection, and you said somehow we let go, somehow we just give in, is because you know what it means to be a watchman on a wall? It means actually like when you know how you actually doze off and you fall asleep, you gotta lift your head back up to stay up. If you driving like 10 miles or 16 miles before you get to your destination, you don't want to stop. You want to keep going till you get there, but something telling you you're tired and you doze off. You know what I mean? But if you fall asleep, it can be it to keep going. Right? And to keep going. But I use that in the only way where I say safety wise is that when you get your next your next stop or your rest stop, that's when you're able to what? You make it to prayer. We have to endure long enough to make it to prayer and get to prayer, because sometimes you don't actually make it to prayer before you actually get your strength. You can give in to your temptation and let it just go in. Okay. But you get to your rest stop.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
What you mean by that?
Huh?
Meaning that the wind, like, you know, like if you...
What you mean by that? I mean, like, make it to...
Yeah.
Like, if we're not praying, like, at every given moment, right?
Yeah, like if